Okay, I think we're live again, and this time I don't look like an alien. I don't know what happened on that other stream. That was hilarious. It was like my face was like... So, anyways, we're back live here. Let's get everybody to join here. We had a bunch of people join real quick there in the last one, but then everybody went off because I went off. So, is everything good now? Audio quality good? Video quality good? Everything good? I just want to make sure everything's good before we get rolling with the Q&A and about all that stuff, guys. Okay, looks good now. Audio sound good. Everything's good. Looks like everything's going pretty good. Everything's good, right, guys? Okay, cool deal. That was hilarious. My face was like an alien. It was like ridiculous. So, I hope you guys are all doing wonderful today. I just felt like going live. It was like such a ridiculously busy week in my real estate business that like I just couldn't find the motivation to do the stock market weekly recap. And on top of that, I already covered like a lot of the biggest news stories this week, a lot of the biggest companies that reported. I already did videos about them and everything this week, so I was just not feeling it. So I'm like, let me come hang out with you guys. Let's do Q&A, have something fun going on. Just chill time, hang out. Let's do that instead. So that's what we're doing. And anyways, let's just start off with some Q&A. I don't have much information to tell you guys today. Otherwise, still working on that motivational book that I'm going to release for 1 day for free for all you guys to download it. That should be out next weekend. So working on that right now. The last small book I do before the main book I start working on, which is How to Get Rich During a Recession. And that's going to be a big time launch there. So that's all we got going on. Let's, hey from California. Hello. So hello guys. Hello everybody. All right. Right off the bat here, is NVIDIA a buy or do you think it will still drop in the short term? I'm not a type of guy that can really like tell if a stock's going lower in the short term or whatever, you know. I would say 10 years from now, I would, if I had a bet, I would say NVIDIA will be drastically higher than it is now. But over the next year, 2 years, you gotta understand NVIDIA, if you look back at the last 2 years or 3 years, NVIDIA's up like hundreds of percent. Even in the last 12 months, NVIDIA's up, 181% or something like that, just in the last 12 months. So, you know, with that stock, that kind of take it for what it is. All right, we got a lot of questions coming in here. Why don't you sleep? That's a good question. I know. I always look awake, but man, no, I do sleep. Don't get me wrong. I do sleep like 2 hours a day. No, more than that. Jeremy, what's your strike price for your GoPro call option in 2018? I have a lot of different strike prices. I have $13 strike prices, I have $10 strike prices, I have $8 strike prices, and I have $5 strike prices. And I may even have $18 strike prices. I hope I don't, but I might. I'm not sure. I haven't looked in a while, but I have a ridiculous amount of call options expiring in 2018 and 2019 in GoPro. The majority of them at $13, $10, $8, and $5 strikes. That I do know for sure. All right, thoughts on North Korean tensions? Well, it's funny, I was talking about North Korea and, you know, everything going on in North Korea, and I was talking about that months ago, and I thought something might happen. I thought something might happen, and then nothing happened, and it's just more talk and all those kinds of things. So, North Korean situation, could something happen? Potentially. If it does happen, I see really the United States mostly taking out bases and things like that. Will it develop into a big-time war? I don't think so, and if it does, it's not going to be like people talk about, like it's going to be World War III or something like that. Like no one has any interest. Like Russia and the United States and China have no interest. Like everybody loses in that situation. China loses, Russia loses, United States loses. If it's a big war, everybody loses. The world's running on money. Money's what dictates everything in life, and when you understand that, you realize a war for China, Russia, and the United States, it was just messes up everything. It would just be massive amounts of death. It would be, you know, the economies would go into shambles of all the countries. So that's kind of outside of the books, but it's still possible something could happen. But, you know, that dude over there in North Korea, Kim Jong-un or whatever, he just talks crazy. And then, you know, Trump, you know, he likes to talk the way he likes to talk. And it's just, you know, it's probably just going to be, you know, a lot of talk for several years to come. And that's about it. All right. Good stock with potential for this upcoming week. Will you buy Blackwater stock? That I don't even know about. Blackwater stock. You tell me about that one. That I don't know about. Hey Jeremy, love your videos. Thank you for that. When you are analyzing the 10K report, do you take GAAP or non-GAAP more into consideration? I try to balance them equally. Non-GAAP a little more important because that that takes out the one-time item. So sometimes you can have a one-time item in there, and that's like not a normal thing, right? So sometimes, in my opinion at least, non-GAAP is more important than GAAP at the end of the day, even though obviously GAAP is what is the honest truth when you take everything into account. But non-GAAP, it's like, you know, if somebody had a sale of this business that boosted earnings or whatever, or a one-time fee they had to pay, like, you know, what's the big deal about that? You know what I mean? It's not like that's a reoccurring thing there. So that's kind of my opinion on it. Oh, we got our first super chat of the day. Thank you so much, Jay Lawson. $10. I appreciate that. Super chat. Awesome stuff. Thank you for the advice on GoPro last month. Made a killing. Glad you made a killing, but hopefully you made a killing because you actually believed in GoPro, not because you heard me on 4 Stocks I'm Buying talking about why I'm buying GoPro and you just decided to put money in it. Like, I always want people to make your own decisions, not just throw money at whatever I'm throwing money at. Like, if you really believed in GoPro and you just happen to hear it because I talked about it, great. But, you know, if you're just investing in it because of me, like, that's not good. But anyways, thank you for that $10 super chat. As a 21-year-old business student, or excuse me, college student, what kind of business should I start? Well, I would say do something you're passionate about, like, because if you're starting a business, you might be doing that for the next 10, 20, 30, 50 years. You never know. Or you might, you know, fail and be out of it in a year or two. Do something you're passionate about. Do something that's it's a lot easier if you go after an industry that's growing, something that's growing. Like for me, I went after real estate marketing. Obviously, that's a good sector that's growing, you know, with Zillow and basically everything online. People looking at more houses online, like a professional photographer taking professional photos of homes, you know, drone photos, like videos, all that stuff. That's a big business that's just growing and growing and growing right now. So that's why I got into that. And I've learned so much about videography and so much about photography I would have never, realized if I hadn't started that business. So it's good to go after something that's a growing sector, something that's becoming more and more popular and those kinds of things, guys. Can you do a video on options? I've done several videos on options over time, so check out that. I might even have an options playlist, to be completely honest. All right, theory on the Dow theory. I don't have any theory on the Dow theory. Thinking about starting a restaurant once I get out of college in 2 years. How should I start looking for investors? Well, my thing is, like, if you start a business, I always think you should try to start it with your own money. I know that's hard, especially if it's a business that you need $50K, $100K, $200K, $500K to start. If you're looking for investors, man, yeah, it's going to be hard if you're just getting out of college and you just want to go straight to start a business. I mean, you could probably get a loan if you have, like, somebody backing you, like a cosigner or something. But, like, if you're looking for investors straight out of college, like, why is someone going to believe that you can start up a successful restaurant if you've never done it before? Because if you're just coming straight out of college, you've probably never started a successful restaurant. Now, if you've been a chef or something at a successful restaurant, you can say, hey, I've learned all this. This is why you should believe in me. But if you're just starting a restaurant looking for investors and you're saying, hey, I just graduated college. Shit, I've never ran a restaurant in my life. I've never been a restaurant manager in my life. Why someone I would never give you money. Like, I'll just be straight up honest with you. I would never give someone money if they just came straight out of college and they think they can do this or that. Like, you got to have proven something to me. So maybe you're already taking those steps to become a restaurant manager or something, but you need to have, like, some experience in the restaurant game before you go and just, start asking for $100,000 or whatever amount of money you're asking for at the end of the day. So make sure you're getting the experience, and then you can start looking for investors after that point. All right, what else do we have here? Someone says, I've worked at a restaurant since I was 16. That is what I'm talking about. That's good. I mean, it's good unless you're, well, I won't even get into that. Which key ratios do you consider before buying a stock? Everything. Like, everything's a key ratio. There's nothing that's, like, not important when looking at a stock. You got to look at the full business. You got to look at the full industry. You got to look at the PE ratio, the current PE ratio. You got to look at the forward PE ratios. You got to look at the balance sheet. You know, what do they have in cash and investments versus short-term debt, long-term debt? You got to look at all that stuff, guys. Like, there's not just, like, one thing. Like, and I know everybody wants that golden answer of just, like, there's one magical thing you can look at, and that will give you the answer, and that will find you. No, that's bullshit, man. I'm just going to be straight up with you. That's a flat-out lie if somebody tells you there's one thing you can look at, and that's going to decide if your investment's going to do great over the next 3, 5, 10 years. At the end of the day, it comes down to everything, guys. It comes down to everything. That's the main reason I wrote this book is because I've got everything that I actually look for in a company in that book in order. So at the end of the day, everything is important. You can't just invest in Ford because of PE. I guess somebody's having a conversation there in the comments. Is Cruise good to buy now? It's up to you. Why would you believe in Cruise? Let me ask you, because you watch me on Snapchat buying Cruise? Is that why you're buying Cruise? Or do you actually know something about Cruise? Have you been researching Cruise? Let's see if you get back to me in the comments section there. How long do you plan on holding your GoPro shares? I would say for at least a year, if not 2 years. I can't really see myself selling out within the next 12 months. I would say probably not even within the next 24 months, but it's possible. But I would say the chances I sell out within the next 12 months is probably, I would say, less than a 2% chance, like super low. So I'm planning on probably holding that one for at least another, I would say, 2 years-ish. Maybe longer. Who knows? We shall see. Jeremy, go for cryptocurrency, man. 300% last week. Dang. What kind of cryptocurrency? There's a lot of action in that, a lot of hype right now. What happened to Starbucks stock? I haven't tracked Starbucks that closely since it went off of 4 stocks I'm buying. I think it was either a month ago or 2 months ago I took Starbucks off the list. I haven't tracked it that well because I just haven't been tracking it because that's not one of my investments anymore. But I don't know. I'll have to look into Starbucks. I think they reported numbers. Maybe they weren't as strong as they expected, but I honestly haven't gotten a chance to look into Starbucks yet. So, all right, what do we got here? $60,000 in debt freshman year. Any advice? Holy smoke, $60,000 in debt as for freshmen? Where are you going to college, man? Like, how are you $60K in debt? Like, you got to be going to some ridiculous school that's out of state or something. And holy smokes, like, guys, you got to think about this stuff before you just go to college. Like, think about like the amount of money. And it's sad parents aren't talking to you guys about this kind of stuff. Like, you kidding me? 60,000? Like, even if you're 20,000, that's insane. Never mind 60K after your first year. That's awful, man. I would say go to an in-state school or something. You must be going to an out-of-state school that's super expensive. That's whack. That's all I have to say. I feel bad. Holy smokes. Okay, how do you sell a program? Phil Mitchell, how do you sell a program? I'm guessing you're talking about like a video program maybe, and you could do that. You could basically give away free content on social media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all those type of things, and then drive traffic to your program through that way. You just give a little bit of free information away, and then you go the route of, creating some type of program you sell, basically. I know a lot of people on YouTube do that, like a lot of the Amazon sellers. I think this guy, I think I watched a video on someone recently. This guy named, I think his name was Tanner J. Fox. And he basically does that. Like, he has a YouTube channel and he drives some traffic through some free content, but then he sells like a $500 course or something. So if you're trying to sell a program, that's probably the best route you can go. You can also go advertising. So you could do like the Tai Lopez route if you want to go, where you advertise all over, social media. And as long as you're making it up in the end, that's basically the way you want to go if you're going to sell a program type of thing. All right. Would you invest in Facebook? Would I invest in Facebook? Possibly. But man, Facebook's never won me over. I'm just really interested. I watch Facebook and I'm really interested to see how investors and how the investment community takes next year with Facebook, because I believe user growth will slow on the Instagram platform greatly. And it's going to be interesting to see how Wall Street takes that slowing of growth, because Facebook doesn't really have any more platforms behind Instagram right now to grow massive amounts, hundreds of millions of new users onto it. They had Facebook at first, then they kind of had WhatsApp, and then they had Instagram. Now they've got nothing on the backside behind Instagram. So it'll be interesting to see how Wall Street takes it. I'm not investing in Facebook yet. I'd be very interested if the stock does drop next year or something like that. I would be very interested in investing in it, but not right now for me. Thoughts on Amazon? I mean, dominating the world. I was thinking about doing a video. Let me know if you guys ever want me to do a video about all the different ways you can make money from Amazon. There's a lot of different ways that you can make money from Amazon, either part-time, full-time, all these different ways. But Amazon has taken over the world. It's just, obviously that's a little more... they're not taking over the world, but they're doing so many different things. They're just a beast. I don't know what else to say. Do you think GoPro reached its peak at 1071? I hope not. I hope they haven't. You know, GoPro's still in that stage of, you know, right now they're showing the phenomenal growth. So that's starting to attract some investors. They've shown 3 straight phenomenal quarters of growth. So now it's starting to get some more people interested. And now they got the big quarter coming up, you know, 2 quarters from now, which is basically the 4Q. Get to see what those numbers are. Then that could be the one that really, you know, starts attracting big money. I'm talking about mutual fund, hedge funds. And then as they get more profitable and they become more of a profitable company and go from losing money on a GAAP basis to making money, then you start attracting even a wider array of investors at that point. So, I mean, I hope GoPro has not seen its peak at 1071 or whatever it hit. Hopefully we got a long way to go there. Do you think the market will recover next week? When you say recover, like, we're probably within 2 or 3% of record highs in the history of the stock market. So do you think the market will recover next week? Like, that question just baffles me. We're literally probably within 3%, if not 2%, of the record all-time of the stock market. So recover, like, what are you talking about? Like, if the market was down 20, 30, 50%, then we can talk about recover. But when you're like 2% or 3% off of the all-time high the market's ever been in history, like, that's not recover. That's just like normal fluctuations in the stock market value. All right, what's your opinion on Noodles & Company? Well, it's a company I follow. You guys probably know that if you follow me on the Stock Tracker app. It's a restaurant chain that's just not run very well. I'm just kind of paying attention to it to see. It's such a low-valued company now. I mean, the market cap's teeny on that company. I'm seeing if there's any type of turnaround play there. If there is, I might pick it up. But, man, I haven't seen anything yet come through. So we shall see what happens. Penguin Squad in the house, $2. Thank you for the super chat. Hey, what's up, man? Just chilling with you guys. That's about it. Thank you for that $2 super chat. Do you know GoPros can last at least 5 minutes in liquid nitrogen? I did see a video. That video blew up last year. They did with the liquid nitrogen. You guys got to look that up. I can't remember the channel name that did that, but they put a Hero 5 Black in liquid nitrogen and like a Hero 5 Session in liquid nitrogen. It was pretty cool. It blew up. It was like a viral video. But anyways, what else we got here? Jeremy, do you remember when I asked you if you're prepared for a crash? Because I believe the collapse of the dollar is coming November 2018. I would love to hear why you think the dollar will collapse in November 2018. There's always like prognosticators always saying the dollar's going to collapse and this and that, and it never happens. But I'm always willing to hear like why you believe that or why you believe this. So let me know why you believe that. Jeremy, if you were a billionaire, would you rather be a massive player with lots of chicks, settle down? Well, I'm a family man at the end of the day. Like, I already played the chick game. I won that game, so like there's nothing left for me out there. Like, when I win a game, it's on to the next one. So like, me and my focus in life, it's around my family now, and for me it's around my businesses and things like that, and growing and just growing as a person in general and things like that. Like the chick game, yeah, I already played that game and I won that game, so game's over for me now. I'm already in the Hall of Fame. All right, what else we got here? The dollar's been crashing for 40 years. True, but it's still doing phenomenal. The dollar's still the world currency at the end of the day. You know, take it for what it is. Hello, can you talk about after hours, and do you have any advice for trading during after hours? After hours trading, highly risky after hours trading. And you can make a lot of money after hours trading because, like, let's say, you know, a company ABC reports earnings and then their stock just shoots up like 5%. Maybe you can jump in that, and then next thing you know, it's up 20% and you sell out and you make a 15% in a couple minute span. You can do that, but it's highly risky. It can go just as bad, you know, all of a sudden it shoots up 5% and you think everything's good, and then a few minutes later it drops 20% or whatever, 25%. And then it's like, you know, you just lost a ridiculous amount of money in a very short amount of time. So I would say stay away from that because it's just highly risky. It's literally one of the riskier things you can do in the stock market is after hours trading. So I wouldn't even mess with that if I were you personally. All right. Hey, Jeremy, what are you going to do if a recession happens again? A lot of stuff. I got a lot of money on the sideline right now. Got a book coming, you know, this fall that's all about how to get rich during a recession. So you could say that book will be doing phenomenal if we do hit a recession. But yeah, just keeping money on the sidelines at all time, ready in case something does happen. All right, just letting you know you are an inspiration to me attending public college just so I can learn how to manage my money and learn business because I watch your videos. Thank you. I appreciate that, and I'm happy I could be an inspiration to anybody. Please make a video on, whoopsies, please make a video on how to read an option chart, okay? I think I did that in an options video in the past, but we'll have to check into that. Thoughts on NVIDIA, I already shared that earlier in the cast. Jeremy, you are buying Cruise. Why not Apple? Oh boy, that's a tough one because, you know, Cruise is so... When I look at... I don't even want to get into Cruise yet because I want to give... When I give my bullish thesis, which you guys, if you follow me on Snapchat, you know that's going to be a stock edit next month to 4 stocks I'm buying and a stock's going to get kicked out. But basically... I just want to wait on Cruise to get my full view when it's in a professional setting, not like I'm live right here, right now. So I want to wait on Cruise to give my full thing on 4 stocks I'm buying because I just don't want to give part of it and then it doesn't make sense. I just want to have everything ready to go when I do that. So, all right. Thoughts on Robinhood app for investing? I still haven't used that app, but I've heard a lot of great things about Robinhood, so that's all I have to say about that. For your info, NVIDIA is not found as good as they did in the past, but they're coming up. Jeremy, what are other good options than stock market investing, like other income-generating assets one can buy? I always say, like, other than stock market investing, invest in yourself, invest in businesses, you know, try to start a passive income stream, something you don't even have to put money into. Like, that's going to generate you huge returns potentially if you have the passion for it and do it. Like, there's so many different things you can do in this world that cost no money, putting no money into it. So outside of stock market investing, like, build businesses, like, build passive income streams, do stuff like that because those are the type of things that are going to bring you money years to come, and generally it costs very little money to start. So I would say look into that. Do you have a Nintendo Switch? I do not. Hey guys, what do you think about direct investing via RBC Bank or CIBC? That I do not know about, so hopefully someone can answer that. Jeremy, are you familiar with the law of attraction? I am. How to read options chain vid? Robinhood is awesome. What other channels on YouTube would you recommend that has valid knowledge regarding finance and entrepreneurship? Tough question. I mean, I know I enjoy personally Gary Vaynerchuk's channel a lot on YouTube. Not sure if you guys are familiar with him. I watch at least a couple of his videos each week, and he basically has a vlog. It's pretty interesting in my opinion. He's got a good thing going on there. And, you know, he's been very successful in business, like way more successful than me as far as, you know, the amount of money he's generating, things like that. He's like in his 40s, and that's a really good channel for entrepreneurship, and it'll light a fire under your ass. He's very motivating, generally speaking. You do have to sift through a lot of the vlog to finally get to some good information, but when he does give information out and tips out and things like that, it's good stuff. So I would highly recommend his channel for entrepreneurship. All right. And by the way, as far as personal finance, Dave Ramsey, that's a really good channel. He just talks solely about personal finance related topics, and like people call in and they, you know, oh, I'm in $150,000 in debt, and you know we make $80,000 a year, and this and that, and what do we do to get out of this situation? So check out that guy's channel if you want personal finance type stuff. What should I do with my $4,000 in dividends? Good question. What should you do with your $4,000 in dividends? That's a lot of money you got in dividends there, so congratulations. If the stock market crashes, don't you just hold until it is back or whatever that is? A lot of different options. I mean, a lot of different things. You can buy put options in the meantime while the stock market's crashing. You go short shares. There's so many different strategies on how you can make filthy amounts of money in a stock market crash scenario or a recession scenario, guys. It's so much, and that's why I'm writing the book, because literally you can make more money in a recession if you know how to do it than you can actually in good times in the stock market. And trust me on that, because you're talking about the markets going down so fast, so much, every day, so much volatility. You can make disgusting amounts of money in a stock market crash scenario. So that's the main reason I'm writing that book, because whenever that time does come and we have that, it's very important to know how you can capitalize on it instead of just watching your money go down and less, or just holding on the sideline until suddenly things get better, because you can make money on that downside all the 100% way. Alrighty. What is your favorite investment strategy? Buy my book. That is my investment strategy. It goes into everything there. So sell put options. A lot of different things you can do. I inherited $40,000 in tax write-off. Should I day trade for a living? I'm not a day trader. I don't recommend day trading. Never known a person in real life that's made money day trading. Never. I've known so many people who tried, and they did some guy's program out there and this and that. Never known one person long-term that made money day trading. Every single person I know, and it's been a lot of them, have all lost money long-term. Maybe they started out and it was the first month happened to be good, or the third month or whatever, or maybe their first year happened to be good, but long-term, they all lost money 100% of the time on day trading. So take it for what it is. Oh, we got a $2 super chat. Thank you so much for that. Yubi Cartel or Yubi Kate. Thank you so much for that. Sorry for being annoying, but thoughts on ESPP? ESPP? Not sure. I feel like I've heard that term before. I feel like it has something to do with employment something, but I don't know. ESPP, you're going to have to... Is that maybe an employee stock purchase program? Is that what you're talking about? If you're talking about an employee stock purchase program, which you may, I'm not sure if that's what you mean by ESPP, it's good if you believe in the company. Like I remember when I was working at Walgreens, for instance, they gave you 10% off on stocks you bought. You just had to hold them for 90 days. So I took advantage of that, and this was back when Walgreens stock was like $20 a share because it was during the recession. It was like 2008, 2009, like the economy was in shambles, right? And I was buying those shares and I was getting them for a 10% discount. And I made, for how little money I had at that time, I made a lot of money on those Walgreens shares because I was getting them at a 10% discount and I was buying them at a primo time to be buying those shares while I worked for Walgreens, making $9 an hour or whatever I was. I was trying to max out as many shares as I could buy at that time. So it's definitely a good thing if you believe in the company long term, but you got to believe in the company. Don't throw money if you're working for a crap company that you don't believe in long term. All right, sir, could we get in contact with you personally as a mentor for us? No, and here's the reason. Like, you know how many DMs I get? I don't even look at my DMs. I get so many on Twitter, Snapchat, or not Instagram, but Snapchat and Twitter. It's like ridiculous. Like, I wake up and there's just ridiculous amounts of emails, and so I focus any time I have for personal contact type stuff. I'm paying attention to comments, like comments in the YouTube section. That's the only place I really honestly have time to even pay attention to. So if I ever talk to you directly, it's either through a live stream like this or it's going to be through the YouTube comments at the end of the day, because the Snapchats, I don't even open them. I'll be honest, it's so many, it's ridiculous. The Twitter messages, I never even open those. It's too much. And emails, usually I just delete those. You'd be surprised at how many people are trying to get in front of your guys' eyes. If you knew how many people were trying to get in front of your guys' eyes and how much money I turned down, basically not to do a sponsorship or something, like, you guys would be amazed at how much money I turned down just so I don't have to be like, buy this program from such and such company. Like, it's ridiculous, guys. All right, what else we got here? Do you reply to a follower on Snapchat? Nope. AMD stock. I'm not the guy to answer AMD stock, honestly. It's a stock I track just because it's popular, but I don't know. I just don't even want to speak on that. But I did do an AMD video a while back. Any thoughts on Tesla, the car maker of the future? Tesla's phenomenal. Like, car maker of the future, bottom line, they've won. They've already won the electric game. They've won it. Like, it's game over at this point. Everybody is fighting for a number 2 slot. Tesla will win number 1. They've already won it. Like, that game, that war has been won no different than the regular vehicles game has been won, or the truck game was won by Ford or whatever. You know what I mean? Or Chevy. Tesla's already won the electric vehicle game, and we'll get to see that in the numbers over the next few years. So they won at the end of the day. That's all I have to say about that. How much money does that generate? That's a good question. Michael Nobel, thank you for, man, I feel stupid now. I don't even know what type of currency that is. I'm sorry, but you gave me 50 of some type of currency. CHF? Oh gosh, I honestly don't even know what type of currency that is, but thank you so much for that. I do appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat. Thanks for all the great videos you do, Jay, and of course the idea about Apple. Best, Michael Nobel. Thank you so much for your super chat there. I very much appreciate it. All right, here we go. Why not sell win and lock in the profit? I just think a recession that the stock will be a disaster. It could be a disaster. I mean, it will probably do bad in a recession scenario. But one thing you got to understand, it would have to be China that's hurt really bad, because you got to understand, like 75 to 80% of Wynn stock price in their revenue and profits comes from China at the end of the day. It comes from Macau, so it would have to be severe weakness in Macau at the end of the day, and so that's kind of my feeling on that. All right, what else do I have here? Oh, people are saying Swiss franc. It's Swiss. Okay, you guys know more. See, I told you I don't know everything in the world. I don't even know all the currencies. So thank you for that. That's way more than $50. Well, thank you so much, Michael. That I very much appreciate that. And thank you guys for educating me on what that currency was. Tesla are launching rockets to the ISIS, launching them back to Earth. That's not Tesla doing the launching of the rockets. That has to do with Elon Musk, but that is SpaceX. It's called a company called SpaceX, and I'm pretty sure they're a total separate company from Tesla. That has nothing to do with Tesla other than Elon Musk is the CEO of both those companies. And yeah, that is cool stuff. Have you guys seen the SpaceX rockets launch? Like, it's cool. They launch them into the air, like way up there too, and they come down and self-land. Like, it's sick stuff. So pretty cool stuff there. All right. Jeremy, why own common stock when options have much bigger return on investment? Well, the reason is because options also have much bigger risk than stocks. So, stocks obviously have risk, right? But options have way more risk, because you're talking about you got a certain amount of time that a stock has to be at a certain amount of price. So, for instance, remember we talked about all the different prices I have for GoPro options, right? I have $5 strikes, I have $8 strikes, I have $10 strikes, $13 strikes. So let's say GoPro come January 2018 is at $12, and it's not at $13 at least. I lose 100% of my money on those options at the end of the day, guys. So options, yeah, they have a lot more upside, but they also have way more downside, because you need a stock price to be at a certain price at a certain date, and that's whether you're buying put options or call options at the end of the day, guys. So very risky. You really need to know what you're doing if you're doing options, and you need to not be playing with huge money. Like, huge money can go into several different stocks, but don't put huge money into options, because it's just way more riskier. Let's just put it that way, guys. All right, what else do I have here? Sir, how do you learn trading and investment? Did you have a mentor, or did you read books, or what? I read books, but mainly I would watch every interview Warren Buffett's ever done. Like, I would watch Warren Buffett videos that where he was like talking to college kids back in like the 90s. Like, I'd watch anything Warren Buffett related and just like learn how his mind worked. Like, that's literally what I would do. Like, I would just think like watch him, and then how is he thinking about this when he approaches looking into buying a company? Like, how's Warren Buffett do it? Like, what's his approach? And I would watch hour after hour. In 2008, 2009, I was watching Warren Buffett videos like a freaking animal, guys. And that's just what I did, honestly. That's what, and I did read books, and I absolutely learned that way, and I learned about PE ratios and all that stuff, and I learned accounting. I did 3 levels of accounting in college, and, that's just how I did it. I never had a mentor. I never had somebody that was over my shoulder, and my dad never stock market invested. He would kind of like every once in a while like put on like CNBC or something, but he never invested in the stock market. So he didn't really teach me. He taught me about business, because I worked with him every day. When all the other kids would go to school, or excuse me, when I went to school, when all the other kids would go, summer break would happen, right? When all the other kids would just play around, watch TV, play video games, I went with my dad to go clean pools every single day in his business, every single day, Monday through Friday. 110 degrees, and I learned business 101 through watching it through my own eyes since I was 10 years old. Learned about customer service, learned about customer relationships, all that kind of stuff. And so that's how I learned business, and I learned an investing game from Warren Buffett at the end of the day, just watching him and see how he thinks. Never had a mentor. All right, what do you think about Vertex? Would you ever invest in it? I do not know that stock. Would you recommend investing in bonds if you're older, probably, or if you're looking for less risk? I'm not a bond investor. I've never invested in a bond in my life. I know what bonds are, but not for me personally. But so I would say there's a lot of good books on bonds. Like go on Amazon, look for a lot of books that are highly rated on Amazon and buy some of those, or just go to the library and rent them. Nike stock. Very well-run company. They're in retail. A lot of stuff going on right now, and Under Armour's getting hammered right now, so the space could get even more competitive. You have a lot of brands popping up over social media right now in the clothing game. It's a mess right now. So I'm not touching Under Armour or Nike right now just because it's too messy for me. The visibility is not clear enough for me. So, Jeremy, would Shopify be a good long-term investment? I really need to, the next company I seriously look into is Shopify. So I don't even want to give my opinion on Shopify yet. And I obviously know what it is, but I have not looked into depth about Shopify. Do you guys want me to do a is it a buy video on Shopify? If you want, I can do that, like an is it a buy Shopify. Let me know in these comments if you want that. And I could do that after I actually look into it for myself. Can I invest in your mustache? You can. I'll tell you what, when I'm 40, when I shave it when I'm 40 and then I start looking like I'm 30 again, I'll sell it. I'll auction it off to you. It can sell for at least $2. I know it can. Do you think Snapchat will increase revenue 50% next quarter considering their self-service tool has shrunk ad rates tremendously? I think they should be able to grow at least 50% next quarter. I think the self-service tool is going to be something that it's so key. If you're doing, and anybody that's ever done Google AdWords, like I have, for my customers and whatnot, or for YouTube, self-service is key, especially if you're on small budgets, a few $100s I'm spending for my customers or whatever, it's not like Google can send me a rep to help me, set up all that. So self-service is huge. Facebook is so phenomenal for that. That's why Facebook's revenues have gone up so much, other than obviously they have a ridiculous amount of users on that platform. So that's going to be key for Snapchat. And I actually was looking into that the other night and whatnot. So should be interesting. You should put the title in bright colors in the thumbnail and maybe put the company's logo in the pic as well. Might, kind of been experimenting a little bit with thumbnails lately, kind of some underground stuff. Cruise question. Lots of analysts expect growth to slow for Cruise. Why do you think this is? Well, Cruise came off a huge growth year, and without getting too much into Cruise, because once again, I want to give my full bullish thesis, on next 4 stocks I'm buying next month. But basically, growth is slowing because they're not going to get any new content in the next iPhone. This next iPhone that's coming out in September, they're not getting any new content. So they're kind of more reliant on iPhone growth this year as far as major growth. And they should get some growth from the Android space and things like that. But, they had ridiculous amounts of revenue growth last year. So at the end of the day, you can't grow like that every single year. They had 3 straight years they grew over 25%. That's not going to be sustainable forever, especially in the semiconductor space. You grow huge a few years and then kind of you slow for a year or two and things are kind of stagnant. And then all of a sudden you grow like crazy another few years, and that's just how semiconductors work. Would you invest in banks? They pay good dividends. Not that interested in the banks. I'll just be completely honest with you guys. But yeah, I wouldn't say never. I love Goldman Sachs. I love JP Morgan. If I did buy a bank, it would probably be one of those two. I have an investor meeting in a week. Can you go over and analyze of cash flow and business plans again? Possibly, but you have an investor meeting? Interesting. What do you think of LMT? LMT, oh man, that ticker symbol sounds familiar. LMT. What the heck is LMT? I can't remember right now. Not Lifetime Fitness. I can't remember LMT, honestly, so I can't. Is Snap a buy? Getting close. I'm getting close. Is it worth it to move to Vegas for lack of tax? It depends. I mean, honestly, that's one of the reasons I moved to Vegas. I mean, no state income tax. That's freaking phenomenal. But the other reason I moved to Vegas, and probably one of the biggest reasons I moved to Las Vegas, is I just feel there's a vibe out here. There's just an entrepreneur type vibe that goes on in Vegas that I just don't feel a lot of other places. And it just feels like the Wild Wild West. It just feels like you can get a business rolling. You can do it. It just feels, I don't know, I think Vegas is just a place that either makes you or breaks you. I feel like it's that type of place. I feel like there's no room for mediocrity here in Vegas. I just feel like, a lot of the East Coast places and whatnot, and a lot of, in the South, it's just like, you can just play that mediocre game. Here in Vegas, it's either go big or go home. And so that's just how I feel. And I just get an entrepreneur vibe like crazy. And I don't know if it's seeing those big buildings and, hearing the stories about, guys like Steve Wynn that moved out here and, they were a nobody and now they're fucking legends. I don't know what it is. It's just an entrepreneur vibe. That's the main reason I moved out here. But it's also phenomenal that there's no state income tax. And And the nice thing about Vegas is everything's new. Like you ever been to Vegas, especially if you've ever been out of Las Vegas, like to the suburbs, like Summerlin, Henderson, like everything's new. Like all the houses have been built like 90s, or like homes in the 1990s here are old homes. That literally, like homes in Henderson or Summerlin that are built in the 90s, like those are old homes. Like, those aren't nice anymore. And in other places, like I remember living in Charlotte, North Carolina, like if you had a home that was built in the 90s or newer, like that was like new, you know what I mean? So it's just a different thing, but I just go for the vibe. I love the vibe out here. Daniel, thank you so much for the €5. I very much appreciate your super chat here. Could you answer my question at URL, please, paste bin? Could you answer my question at this URL? I can't click on that URL, so I don't. I wish you would ask your question here in the question thing, because I can't even click on that. But thank you for the super chat. I'll try to see if somehow I can click on that after this or whatnot. But all right. So what else we got here? Jeremy, please make a more in-depth vid on options, like how to read charts. Okay. But I swear I got that. Have you already looked into all my options videos? That's my biggest question for you, because I swear I've already talked about in some of those option videos, like how to read a chart, which is not that complicated. You're basically looking at the strike price and what you have to pay for that. And then so say it's an $8 strike price, right? You're trying to buy call options on ABC companies at $8 strike price. And if the last trade was at $2, you probably have to pay $2 for that. So basically it means your shares need to go up to at least $10 to break even, because you got to add the 8 plus 2. Very simple. And then obviously if you make it, if it goes to 12, then you've doubled your money, because you only in it for $2 and you made another $2 on top of that. You doubled your money. So it's not that complicated, and I swear I talked about that in the video, but maybe I didn't. And if I didn't, I will definitely do that. All right, you should do a video where you evaluate YouTubers and their business model. Also, have you ever heard of Linus? I don't know what that says. I think you would find their business model on YouTube very interesting. That would be an interesting idea, but it would probably be a little away from what I usually do. But I wouldn't say I would never do something like that. It's interesting. There's a lot of different business ideas. Like, I'm glad that people on social media are finally figuring out there's other ways to make money other than just sponsorships. Like, there's more ways to make money on social media other than just saying, oh, use this toothpaste from such and such company. There's other ways to make money than that. You don't even have to do that. Jeremy, please make a... Okay, that dude just... laugh out loud. He got rid of his donation. You should do a video where you would... Oh, we already went over that. I went backwards here. Conor or Floyd? Floyd Mayweather, without question. You're talking about the greatest defensive fighter ever. And yeah, he's 40 years old. But, dude, that guy's got, like, instincts like a cat. Like, he knows the punch you're throwing before you even throw it. So, they're like... A dude that's just, all of a sudden going to step in the ring, has never boxed a professional boxing fight in his life. Like, come on, man. But it's interesting to see how they're trying to sell that. It should be the biggest fight ever as far as money goes. I'm feeling very discouraged to invest because I've been hearing a lot about possible impending crash in the stock market. What do you think? Should I invest or wait until the stock market crash? Well, realize you will never, ever, ever invest if that's what you're thinking about, because there will always be talk about stock market crashes. There will always be talk about recessions. This stuff goes constantly in life. It never stops talking. Like, even coming out of the recession, there was people talking about double dip recessions and all the stock market's going to crash and this and that. Like, just realize it's always going to be that way. In the best of times, in the worst of times, it will always be that way. It's always going to be that way. So if that's what's scaring you away, then I don't know what to tell you as far as that goes. You're just never going to invest in the markets ever. All right, Bitcoin. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Little Daddy 391. Thank you very much for the $2 there. I very much appreciate it. Thoughts on FANG stocks for your first-time investors? Good companies, but, Netflix, such a high PE, and there's so much competition coming in that game right now that's not a stock. I'm actually thinking about shorting it. You guys know that if you watch that video I posted this week about why I'm thinking about shorting Netflix stock. Apple's pretty good, pretty safe. One of the safer companies, in my opinion, over the next 5 to 10 years to invest in. Are you going to get insane gains from Apple? Probably not, in my opinion. I don't see anything. The problem with Apple, they're so big now that they need something to be so dramatically huge for them to grow anymore, guys, that it's just like, how are they supposed to do it? So that's kind of my opinion on that. And Facebook's a great company, but like I already talked about with them, they have some problems. What's your opinion on MU, Micron Technology? So Micron, I don't really like the stock that much, but I do have a close friend who's heavily invested in Micron. He believes in the company a lot. I don't really see where he's coming from on that. I think it's just they're in a space that is so competitive and it's hard to differentiate between this company and that company. It's very easy to trade those parts out that Micron does. You know what I mean? So for that reason, I'm not a big fan of Micron, but it's super low PE company. Like if you want to find a company that's low PE, as far as on a forward basis, it doesn't get much lower than Micron. I think they're at a 6 or something like that. All right, what else we have? Disney, love Disney. It's a very well-run company. I'm not invested in it, but it's possible I could at some point. What makes you think Snap will grow despite instant competition? Snap is a unique platform that, I personally love Snapchat as someone that uses Snapchat. The amount of people that actually open my Snapchats, choose to open my Snapchats versus how many people actually follow me on Snapchat, it's absurd. Like the ratio is insane. Like if I got every person, as many people to open a YouTube video as I do Snapchat, like that would be ridiculous for me. We'd be getting way more views than we get on this channel currently. So it has phenomenal audience retention on Snapchat. They're doing so many innovative things. It's just such a clean experience, especially on iOS. I haven't experienced it on Android. I know that's one of their troubles. I guess it's not as clean of an experience as if you're an iPhone user, basically. But I mean, I definitely prefer it as a consumer way over Instagram. I feel like Instagram, you got so much spam activity, I guess you could say, on Instagram. You got so many people that just follow people just so they can get a follow back to get their numbers up, basically. Like you see all these, how many people have you seen on Instagram? I've seen a million of them that have like 4,000 followers, but they also follow 4,000 people. It's like, dude, come on. Really, you're following 4,000 people? So that's my opinion on that. NVIDIA, we already talked about that in the beginning, and plus I already shared my thoughts on that. Any thoughts on the Internet of Things? Internet of Things is going to be huge. I mean, pretty much everything around your house and whatnot will be talking to you in the future, and you'll be talking to it. And it's just a growing space that's just getting huge. But as far as a specific play on that, I don't know. I don't want to talk about that yet. Hey, Jeremy. Do you use valuation methods such as DCFs in comps, precedent trading before picking a stock? Not so much. Any thoughts on IBM stock? Revenue is down again. IBM, that's not a stock I'm into at all, I'll be completely honest. They're kind of like the old wave of tech, and I just don't see them doing anything necessarily that's going to be big enough to offset what the things they've already accomplished in the world. So that's kind of my opinion on that. Michael says, if you believe in IoT, you must learn about blockchain and IoTA. I would agree with that. Blockchain, I've been looking into that a little bit because I heard blockchain. I've been looking into that. Interesting stuff, I will say that. What else do we have here? I'm going to be getting off this live chat probably within about 5 to 10 minutes, just so you guys know. So I'm going to try to get as many questions as possible in these last 5 to 10 minutes. I bought Amazon. Am I going to be okay with AI taking over? Yeah, artificial intelligence, that will be taken over. It's going to be a different world 20 years from now. That's all I have to say. Do you have pets? I do not. Do you use asset pricing models? Asset pricing models, what do you mean by that? I would love to hear what you mean by asset pricing models. What about Monster? Monster is a phenomenal company. It's one I did very well in, Monster Energy. They're still a high PE company, though, and that's probably what's kept me from getting back into Monster. They're a high PE company, and I think a lot of the big energy drink growth is kind of behind the game now. I don't think energy drinks are going to grow nearly at the rates they used to grow when I was investing in it. So for that reason, I'm probably not interested in Monster until that PE comes down a good amount. At least it needs to come down at least 20 to 30% for me to be, very interested in it. Will CBS stock rise because of McGregor and Mayweather fight? They own Showtime. It's possible, but you got to understand, like, the problem with things like that is they just help out earnings at that one particular time, and then it goes away. So maybe if you're a trader, maybe you can play that a bit and you know, play it that way. But I mean, long term, it's not like they're gonna ever get another fight like that ever again. So that's the issue there, unless they happen to get McGregor and Mayweather Part 2. So. All right, what else do we have here? What do you think about oil company stocks like ExxonMobil, Statoil? I don't like any of the oils right now because of basically, I don't know where oil prices are going. Like I'm not convinced oil prices will ever be $80 or $90 or $100 again. I'm just not. I just don't see a world where that exists. And without that world existing, I don't see those stocks ever going up, you know, big amounts ever again. So for that reason, I can't really touch any of the oils. You know, it's just, oil has become way too commoditized now that fracking is around. That's the bottom line there. Alrighty. Best comedian of all time. You should do a stand-up video where only jokes about the stock market. Oh my gosh, I actually thought about doing something like that. I might still do it in the future someday when I feel like doing something fun. Best comedian all time. I mean, Richard Pryor was pretty funny. A lot of guys are funny. I mean, Kevin Hart's my favorite at the end of the day, and I know that's cliche nowadays because Kevin Hart's so popular. I follow him on Snapchat. He makes me laugh almost every time I watch Snapchat. So, and I click on his snap. So I love Kevin Hart. All right, what else we got here? What do you think about Chinese e-commerce stocks? I own Vips myself. Looks very undervalued. I mean, my favorite play there is Alibaba. I haven't looked into Vips and a lot of those other ones thoroughly enough to really get my opinion on that. So, do you think Bitcoin will reach 10,000 points? I have no clue. I don't even want to give my opinion. I really have no clue. Is 50% option of your portfolio risky? Absolutely. If you got 50% of your money in options in your portfolio, you're in a highly risky portfolio, like super insanely risky, especially if you're going naked on those calls or puts and you're not getting yourself on the backside as far as, you know, playing a little bit on the other side just in case something goes one way or another. Like if half your portfolio that's a highly risky portfolio. Still bullish on Google Alphabet? Yes, but not as much as I once was, and we'll update that in a bit. Trump versus Kim Jong-un in Las Vegas. Could you imagine that? That would be way bigger than Mayweather-McGregor. Like Trump versus Kim Jong-un? Holy smokes, guys. The numbers would be insane for that. I would pay money to see that. That would be the sickest fight ever in history. Do you also invest in small cap companies? Absolutely. I have in the past. You know, you could consider GoPro a small cap company. I mean, their market cap's probably, what, $1 billion? Maybe a little over $1 billion? Like, you know, a little over $1 billion. Like, in the grand scheme of stocks, that's a small cap company. As far as, like, super micro, like, you know, less than 100 million, not usually, to be honest. But I have invested in companies that have less than a $1 billion market cap before. And I might do it again someday. This is a good comment. I like this comment. 95% of all options expire without value. 100% honest truth. Like most options do expire with basically no value in them. That's the truth. So you got to really know what you're doing here. All right. If it's a stock market crash going to happen, how long would you wait to invest in it? Wait until it drops 30%. If it's stock market, and I don't know if that's a question directed to me or somebody in the comments, but I just tell you, I want to make money all the way down. I want to make money all the way down, baby. I'm not waiting. I'm not playing a waiting game. Like I'm always in position to make money nowadays because I know how to play it. So, let's see what else we got here. I'm just about to wrap up this Snapchat, this live chat, guys. It's been very fun. Who do you follow on YouTube? Lately I've been watching a lot of Rice Gum videos, and I know that's kind of surprising for me probably, but like I like being inspired by whoever is really popular at the time. I'm not a big fan of Jake Paul or Logan Paul. I don't really watch them too much. But Rice Gum, I've been watching a lot of him. KSI, but I've been watching KSI for years now. PewDiePie, you know, I still watch him. And other than that, Gary Vaynerchuk, I watch at least a couple of his vlogs pretty much every week. I really like his channel. As far as Roberto Blake, watch him sometimes. Video creators, watch them sometimes. Video influencers, watch them sometimes. And then just some random channels here and there. But those are probably my main ones I watch. I feel like, and I've been watching a lot of NFL stuff. Like on NFL has like all their preseason highlights. They put them on their YouTube page. So I've been watching, obviously, this week with preseason games starting, a lot of NFL stuff on YouTube. Laugh my ass out. Jeremy watching Race Gun videos. Please make a reaction to every day, bro. Could you imagine that? Maybe you should hook up with Race Gun and make a diss track. That'd be funny. Oh my goodness. Have you ever watched Friends? Oh, that's so funny. Last night was rare. I just felt like sitting on the couch and watching like TV, which is so rare for me. Like usually, after we put my son in bed and stuff, like I'll come in the office, I'll start working, doing video prep, editing photos, videos, whatever. I've been working on that book lately. But last night I was just like, I just feel like sitting on the couch, like vegging, watching TV like a normal human. And so that's what I did. And Friends happened to be on. I didn't really watch it. I was just trying to get to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air that was on after that. But it's funny you happen to mention Friends because it was on right before the Fresh Prince. I was like, get this Friends show off so the Fresh Prince can start already. I just watch Fresh Prince and Family Guy pretty much when I'm watching TV. All right. Let's see what else we got. What? I think we're just going to close this off here, guys. So thank you for joining me on this live chat today. I really enjoyed having you guys here. Thanks for all your questions. It's been pretty chill, fun. Fun to always just talk with you guys and just talk about random things out there. So I appreciate you being here. Thanks for joining me. Tomorrow, I don't know what video I got coming tomorrow. I'll be honest, I haven't even recorded one yet. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Other than that, just going to keep working on that book. I'm going to release it for one day for free for you guys, probably this coming Saturday when I actually get it on Amazon and all that stuff and proofread and all that good stuff. So, not too much else to say. We'll see what happens this week. With still a lot of big companies reporting earnings this week, so we shall see what happens. But anyways, thank you so much for joining me, guys. I had a lot of fun, and as always, peace.